The movie begins at the Krusty Krab restaurant. Today is a very special day for Mr. Krabs because they're launching a brand new edition of the Krabby Patty. Now with extra pickles. The customers are lining up like crazy, forming a long, winding queue just to get their hands on this limited edition burger. Out of nowhere, a mysterious customer cuts the line. Turns out it's none other than Plankton and Karen in disguise, trying to get their hands on the special Krabby Patty. They confidently walk up to the counter and order from Squidward, who, as usual, doesn't notice anything suspicious. He has no idea that he's serving Mr. Krabs' greatest rival. At that very moment, Spongebob suddenly jumps onto Plankton's head, offering him two strange choices. Would you like mustache wax or beard oil? Plankton is completely confused by the weird question, until Mr. Krabs shows up and declares that a true mustache expert would always choose wax, because it's the superior choice. Mr. Krabs then twists Plankton's mustache so hard that it rips off, even though Plankton has been growing it for 6 months. Furious and embarrassed, Plankton's cover is blown. Mr. Krabs doesn't hesitate to grab him and toss him out of the restaurant. Outside, Plankton sits sadly on the ground. He's completely defeated. After countless failed attempts to steal the secret Krabby Patty formula, he starts to wonder if it's even possible. Just then, he spots Bubble Bass walking proudly out of the restaurant, holding a brand new limited edition Krabby Patty. A light bulb goes off in Plankton's tiny brain. If he can't steal the formula directly, he can steal that burger. He rushes back to Karen to pitch his new plan, but Karen, tired of his nonsense, decides to just go home. Left alone, Plankton sets his eyes on Bubble Bass. He sneaks into Bubble Bass's pocket, after holding his breath, of course, because, well, Bubble Bass. Later that night, Bubble Bass arrives at his underground home. He's obsessed with collecting rare Krabby Patty editions. He opens a giant vault using, wait for it, his butt print scanner. Inside the vault are rows upon rows of collectible items neatly displayed. Bubble Bass carefully places his new prized Krabby Patty among the others. Just then, his mom calls him to come take a bath, so he shuts the vault and walks away. Inside, Plankton grins. His plan is working, but when he tries to grab the burger, it's way too heavy. He slips and falls to the floor, knocking over one of the other collectibles. Moments later, Bubble Bass returns. Panic sets in. Plankton quickly disguises himself by putting on a costume that looks exactly like the collectible he just knocked over and hides in plain sight. Bubble Bass, confused to see his toy on the ground, picks it up, shrugs, and glues it in place so it won't fall again. Once Bubble Bass leaves, Plankton finally breathes a sigh of relief, but then realizes something horrifying. He's trapped. There's no way out of the vault. Still, he remains hopeful that Karen will come looking for him. Days turn into weeks. Plankton grows hungry and eats from a tiny emergency food canister. Meanwhile, Karen finally wakes up from a long nap and realizes Plankton hasn't been home for weeks. She rushes to the Krusty Krab, where Spongebob is cleaning tables. She asks if he's seen her husband. Spongebob tells her no one has seen Plankton in ages. Karen starts to panic, checking all of Plankton's old traps. But everything is untouched, no sign of him anywhere. Determined to help, Spongebob offers to join her in the search. Karen remembers that she once installed a tracking chip in Plankton, and sure enough, it shows his location. Together, they head off to rescue him. Meanwhile, back in the vault, Plankton is exhausted and desperate. He keeps pounding on the walls, trying to escape, until he accidentally falls onto a large magnifying device. The light beam starts burning a small hole in the floor. And that's when Plankton gets an idea. He begins using the heat to slowly melt an escape hole. But unfortunately, the smoke triggers the fire alarm. Bubble Bass rushes in, panicking about his precious collection possibly burning. He finds Plankton's fake collectible slightly damaged frowns and puts it back again. A few moments later, the doorbell rings. Thinking it's a food delivery, Bubble Bass answers, only to find Spongebob and Karen standing there. They ask about Plankton's whereabouts, but Bubble Bass denies knowing anything and slams the door shut. Karen's tracker, however, clearly shows that Plankton is right underneath the house. In the basement vault, Spongebob and Karen decide to wait until nightfall to sneak in. That night, they manage to disable the security cameras. But SpongeBob accidentally discovers that the basement window isn't locked. He crawls through, and both of them finally reach the massive vault. Just as they find Plankton, Bubble Boss's mom calls him again for help, and he angrily refuses, tired of being bossed around all day. SpongeBob quickly distracts him with a fake Krabby Patty. Thinking it's another limited edition, Bubble Boss eats it immediately and falls unconscious because SpongeBob secretly laced it with sleeping powder. They use Bubble Boss's butt to unlock the vault, and the door opens. Plankton rejoices. But before he can escape, he activates his homemade remote to control the defense robots. Unfortunately, the robots don't follow his commands properly. Suddenly, Bubble Bass wakes up and activates the emergency security system. The vault seals shut, and thousands of peanuts start flooding the room, meant to preserve the collectibles forever, including them. Bubble Bass's mom comes downstairs, wondering why her son isn't answering. With her brute strength, she forces the vault open, only to find him buried under a mountain of peanuts. She sighs and says this should teach him a lesson about spending too much time in his underground man cave. Then she spots the Krabby Patty and casually eats it. Just like that, Plankton's entire weeks-long struggle ends in total failure. The vault door closes one last time, and that's the end of the movie, folks.